Good afternoon. This is Jim Moore, and welcome to the Texas Asphalt Pavement Association, our Fall Focus series. The big push that we're doing this year for our Fall Focus is our scholarship program. And we have set up an opportunity to donate to that program. And we've already got some donations in. And the rest of the month, we'll be taking donations, and we'll be on our fun program on the 24th, I think it is. We're going to have a big scholarship bash. So I want to recognize our scholarship program donors that have donated so far. A.L. Hemkamp's a patron, HNTB, Jebro, and PowerScreen Texas are sponsors, and Cutler is an advocate. So, hey, we got room on this slide for you. So please feel free. I think we got a, okay, we got another one right now. Anderson Columbia is in for $10,000.
Wow.
And Angel Brothers and Century are in for $15,000 each. Thank you very much. That's awesome. That's awesome. So I guess we got to redo the slide now, Jenna. So you got some work to do. Thank you so much for everybody. Again, it's for the kids. And I tell you, being a little bit involved in that last year, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. All right. Our program today is focused on engineering. And today we are blessed to have the TxDOT Director of Engineering and Safety Operations, Michael Lee. So I'm just going to hand this over to Harold, get out of the way, and here we go.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to TXAPA's Fall Focus. I'm Harold Mullen, and we are delighted that you're here with us today to be focused on engineering. And as Jim said, our guest today is Michael Lee, a great partner for this entire industry, and everybody knows that Michael is the Director of Engineering and Safety Operations for TxDOT. So we're going to be opening up the question box for him and having a great conversation about engineering and all the things that are going on at TxDOT. As y'all well know, there's so many things going on. But I just want to say, wow, thank you to our members. What great members we have. We've always said that we've got the best association in the country because of you. And we want to thank you. Here you are donating to our scholarship program, Changing Lives. As you know, our scholarship program changes lives. Anderson Columbia, thank you so much for $10,000 to the program. Slate Angel Brothers, thank you, $15,000. Century Asphalt, $15,000. Thank you. So we're off to a great start. We're looking forward to more of those coming in because we are giving out more scholarships. We are continuing that program to change those lives. So thank you very much. As Jim Warren said, he's behind the scenes back there doing all the buttons and pushing things and taking all of your questions. So, we want to have open communication. We wish we were at our annual meeting, right? We all want to be together. We really want to talk to each other about what's going on, what you've been up to. But that's what Fall Focus is all about. So we want to hear from you during the Fall Focus and chime in with a question, with a comment. Jim's going to be sure and get that to us. So, before we get into that, there's a few little celebrations we've been having around here at TxAPA I want to get to. And number one was for Jim Warren. Jim Warren celebrated 1 year at TxAPA yesterday. But 1 year. So, Jim, congratulations.
Thank you.
We are delighted that you are here and you have offered so much to our industry here in Texas and our association. And we thank you very much. And we thank Donna for wanting to move to Texas. So thank you, Donna.
That was the easy part.
I also want to say we've been celebrating a few birthdays around here. Jenna Nyberg, she celebrated a birthday last week, I believe it was. And today is Emily Adams' birthday. So happy birthday to those folks here in TxAPA, in the Albert Slaughter TxAPA building. So we're delighted that you're having a great birthday and we get to celebrate that with everyone. As I said, our guest today is Mr. Michael Lee. And Michael is the Director of Engineering and Safety Operations, has been doing a great job. And Michael, I guess you've been in that position 6 years now?
Oh, it seems like it, but only about 3, really.
For some reason, I was thinking it was more, but 3 years, been doing a great job. And we sure appreciate you being here to talk to us. One of the first things I want to know is just personally, how have you and Leanne been making it through the COVID?
We're doing good. I passed, I think I told you, I passed the COVID-19. I think I'm up to about COVID 20, 25, something like that. Put on plenty of weight. The the commute is just a lot better. There's no congestion around from the kitchen to the living room, and we're enjoying that. We're getting out a lot and working on the place back home, and so everything's well. All is well.
Good, good. Well, we're glad to hear that. We're delighted everybody's doing good. And, I know a lot of folks at TXAPA from TxDOT, a lot of folks at TxDOT are working from home, but you've kind of taken it to a whole new level since we last talked to you. You have a home in a different spot now.
I do. Yeah, I'm literally working from home, and that means back in Northeast Texas. Came back up here where, walk around, nobody's got an accent. So, when we're in around Austin, people seem to think I have an accent, but anyway, around here they don't seem to think so. So we're working from Warren Springs, Texas. It's a suburb of Linden, about 3 miles out, and just off the loop, downtown Warren Springs. So come see us.
Well, congratulations on that. I know anytime we can get back to home, that's a great thing for everybody. So congratulations on that. And I guess Lacey and the folks at Atlanta district, they probably know where Warren Springs is. They might be the few that do. So
I'm pretty sure if they don't, Buddy's been working with them to make sure that they know where it is. And so when I go down and they're having problems, they generally probably have barricades set up at the end of the road, so I can't get on the highway.
I got you. I understand. Well, one of your favorite topics is safety, and we always start our meetings with the safety share. And I got to looking back, just looking at our TXAPA Live programs that we started because of COVID-19, and you were one of the first guests to come on with us, to be with us. And I'll never forget, your drive about safety at that point. You did the safety share, and your thought was about our employees. Through this ordeal, we've got to be focused on not only our safety on the project, but we've got to take care of our employees through this thing. And that's what I wanted to turn this safety share into, as to how important, what great direction that was, how important that was. But that's enabled us to do a lot of acceleration of work, to get some work done when the traffic was down and all. Can you just approach that a little bit?
So, Harold, when all this started, we worked with TXAPA, we worked with AGC, Concrete Pavers Association, all the groups to come up with some protocols, right? Not talking points, but protocols. And for the most part, I think folks have done a real good job following those. And internal TxDOT administration worked hard to put together a playbook for us on how we would interact and how we would go about doing our jobs. And we've had some breakdowns, I think, in the industry and at TxDOT, where we didn't follow our protocols, and so we had some exposures and things like that. But we have remained relatively low in the positive tests that TxDOT folks have had. We have had some 4 fatalities, sadly. We're disappointed about that. But ultimately, we've been able to continue delivering a program that means so much to the taxpayers, and provide jobs that mean so much to the families of us individually, and our contractor partners and their families, and able to keep the work going. And I think it was a combined effort with everyone to do so. And I'll touch on it just a little bit. You and I were talking earlier about how things have worked, and just a couple of weeks ago, as August was wrapping up, and we were faced with an opportunity to have 2 hurricanes possibly in the Gulf. We had Marco, we had Laura, both churning at the same time. And internally, we were talking about how, we had to be prepared to pull off a double play, using the baseball analogy. And we had to turn this double play with Marco and Laura. And not only that, we had as we were looking to turn this double play, we had to keep our eye on, had a runner on third base that was trying to score against us, and that was COVID-19. And we used that analogy, and we played off that some just to bring to light that in our response, we couldn't break down and let our guard down and not follow our protocols, because if we successfully responded to the hurricanes but failed in our COVID-19 protocols, then we would fail as an agency. So I think we were successful. We have not had any response, any positive tests or any issues out of our response to Hurricane Laura. So we're proud of that.
Well, I think you have been successful for sure, and just real recently, like last week, Michael, we had some meetings going on, and we're talking about some protocols for COVID-19, and we were referring back to the joint workforce safety plan that y'all helped lead and direct to put together with FHWA, yourself, and like you said, all the industry associations, and we just appreciate that, and we think because of that, we have been successful. We've been able to keep our jobs going and help the traveling public to quickly get some of these jobs finished. So that was a great project, great job, and my goodness, you bring up another thing. Another one of y'all's many duties is to take care of the citizens during hurricanes, and so what a great present to give Dan Stacks on his way out the door there.
It was, yeah. We do all we can, you know. You tell us too early that you're going to retire, you know, we'll plan a big going away party. And in this particular case, it was a hurricane. He did great. And, you know, to Dan's credit, he wanted to leave. He was planning to leave a little earlier, but you know, he had duties and responsibilities associated with the hurricane. And you know, he was prepared to stay to the last minute. That's just the kind of person he is. And so always be indebted to him for his service to the state.
You bet. But what a great response by TxDOT. I know James Stevenson is going to do the same thing, just like you did when you're in that position. Unfortunately, hurricanes are just a way of life that we have on the Gulf Coast. So great job, great response. My last point on that was it just seems like that we just didn't hear that much about the one that we just recently had that Louisiana. Unfortunately, they got the brunt of it and all the stories, but I'm sure there's a lot of stories here in Texas also.
Yeah, we came out pretty good on that. I hate it for our friends in Louisiana. We've been in touch with them quite a bit, but you know, they're doing a great job responding. I think their roadways, talking to their folks over there, they were going to have everything opened completely back up within that first week, which was as hard as they got hit was an amazing story. So.
You bet. You know, one thing I want to mention, since we're talking about COVID, and we'll talk about some more safety things here with traffic, but one thing with COVID that I thought was an amazing story was when you got hit by a ransomware incident, and the lettings were never canceled, never delayed, but you had a paper letting during this day and time. That had to be a challenge for everybody.
You know, it was a challenge. You know, there were certain things. Just when we first heard about the ransomware, it didn't take us long to realize how that would impact letting. And you know, Gina and her team, and at the time Camille Thomason and her team in design, they set their plows and got busy. And they weren't going to let it slip by us. But so you know, and you know, if you remember, Whitley and Siddons kind of bailed us out on that because we didn't have access to the proposals that had been put out for advertisement. You know, right? So they did. They had downloaded all of them. They provided that to us, and we were able to work around some of our procedures to successfully have that letting. And I think it's you can't say enough about industry in that also, Harold, because so we had an all paper letting, and people weren't able to download the normal proposals or order them like normal. You know, they were having to print them off and send them in, and you know, there was just a lot of opportunities for all of us to stump our toe. And but you know, we had no protests on those bids, and they're just I can't tell you what that says about industry and TxDOT working together on that, because we all know that at the end of the day, not every technical provision was followed to the T. It couldn't be, and you know, we were having to change things and on the fly sometimes, but everybody stood the ground and did a great job, and I'm really proud of that. But the amazing thing is what most folks don't realize was the next month's letting and how critical that was, and what the folks in design did to push the proposals out and make sure we didn't drop the ball on that, because that was the one probably most at risk. Once we got past having our hands on proposals from, you know, and Whitley and Sidney's helping with that, that the next month was the one truly at risk, because that was the one that we may not have been able to even produce the proposals because they were locked up. But our folks in design worked really hard to have a workaround, and I'm very, very proud of everybody that put that on behind the scenes and in front of the cameras as well. So.
Well, we want to be there to say the same thing. We just want to give everybody a pat on the back. What a great success story, Michael. It really is. And you mentioned partnership. I totally agree. I mean, for an industry, for TxDOT partners to all come together and pull off a paper letting these days, it's remarkable. So thank y'all for doing that, and thank you for industry for jumping in there and doing that. But as you know, something that's very close and near and dear to a contractor's heart is a letting, and not to have a misstep or not to not have a letting. Just kudos to y'all. Y'all did great.
So Harold, I'll also go so far as to say that event reminds us of why we do maintain the paper system. Right? It's always a backup, and as much as we would like to go 100% electronic, if we did not have the paper backup, we would not have had that later. And I'm also convinced that, you know, this is the first ransomware attack that I've been involved in. You know, I'm 55 years old, but I think those folks that are just now coming out of college, that are 25 or whatever, coming to work for the department, even for industry, this may be something more of a normal, unless, you know, system security gets better on that. And maybe it will. We don't know, but I think it's just going to be more normal than what we're accustomed to, because the attacks are happening everywhere.
Absolutely.
And every now and then they slip through. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think you're right. I think that will be a more common process, and hopefully those young folks coming up are going to have the solution for those type of issues that come up. You know, during COVID, when it first came out, we had that reduction in traffic, so we all had our fingers crossed that we were going to see a end to the street, that we were finally going to see no fatalities on Texas roadway for one day. Where did we wind up?
So sadly, we did not end the streak, and in fact, you know, we get a report every Friday that kind of compares year over year for the same day. So, in last Friday's report, we're more than 100 fatalities higher this year than we were on the same day last year. And so it's you know, it's one of those things that we'll study a lot. And, you know, a lot of people will study. It won't just be TxDOT, but, you know, researchers across the country will be studying it. But because previously, like during the recession of 08, back in those times, you know, fatalities went down. And a lot of the minds, the great minds that research these things, they attributed the reduction in fatalities not to things that we had done maybe with the Ogden bonds and the safety that we had put into the additional, you know, widths and barriers and things like that. But a lot of the researchers attributed to the reduction in traffic because people just they didn't have jobs and they weren't getting out. Well, you know, so now we have a situation where everybody was told to stay home and work from home if you could, but we had an increase in fatalities. And I really think it's probably going to show more in the urban areas, the metro areas, than it is in the rural areas, because I think the fatality rates will be higher when we get all the counting and mathematics done. I think what we're going to find is that there was a shift in fatality rates inside the areas that are normally congested.
Gotcha. You know, it was amazing. I really thought we had a chance there because the times that we got out, traffic was greatly reduced. We even talked around here that, gosh, we might be able to end the streak. We just don't see near as much traffic on 35 or other areas. So we were very optimistic of that. But now as time has gone on, coming into work today, my goodness, it almost looked like normal. Do you have any indication of what the traffic levels are like these days?
So they're getting close. They're getting close to being normal, which is, that's, people are really just getting back fully engaged, I think, in going to the office. And, a lot of places are not, they're teleworking as much as they can. But more and more folks are going in, and when they're not going in, they're just going, right? So I think what you're starting to see is people just getting out more.
Yeah, there's a lot of people tired of being locked up.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we've been at this, I guess in 2 days we'll have been at this 6 months.
Wow.
As a department, because it was March the 13th. I guess 3 days. It was March the 13th that we got the direction to we were going to go home and telework, and that was nearly 6 months ago.
So, Michael, y'all put, as usual, TxDOT's on top of things. Y'all put a great, we called it a playbook together. Y'all had a great manual you put together about COVID-19 and your implementation, how the phases would work out. I think we're still in the initial phase. Or is there any movement there? I know you can't predict the future totally, but any movement in that?
So we're, there's a phase 1A and a phase 1B, and we're solidly in phase 1B right now. And I think, there's, we're starting to work on protocols for in-person meetings, and maybe opening up a little bit towards that. But I think it's important that, we don't get above our skis on this. We don't, one, if it's working, let's don't fix it, right? So the things that are broken, the things that we need to fix, at times when we need to have those in-person meetings, let's figure out how to do that by following the playbook. But for the most part, it's just like you're doing right here. I would love to be sitting in that studio with you and Jim. But the reality is, for the folks that are tuning in, if I didn't just tell them I wasn't there, and if I didn't have a different background to you, they wouldn't necessarily know. And I don't know that I've got a different background to you because I don't know what Jim's doing to me. I may have a circus going on behind me.
No, you're covered, buddy.
But it's working, right?
Yeah.
It's working, and it's a little bit different, but it's working. And so I think the governor will lead the way for how state agencies go about their business, and we're not going to get ahead of him either. He's done a good job leading all this.
Absolutely. Y'all done a great job through all that, and you've kept up with all your additional duties you have too. And I know you and Quincy have been putting some people in new positions over there. Can you talk about materials and test division and kind of what's been going on there?
So materials and tests, it's everything's like a set of dominoes. Mike Anderson retired up in the Atlanta district, and Buddy applied for and got the job as the DE back home in Atlanta. And so he took off, and Miles was the deputy there at materials and tests, and he applied for, and we were lucky to have him there and named him the new director of the materials and test division. And then he turned around and hired a deputy, Ryan Barbarack, and it's just it's just chain reaction, and the story keeps going. EDOT has filled in Ryan's spot now, and so we're doing well. We're doing well. And that, of course, that's just for that one retirement. You see a lot of others going on that we've had. So you've already talked about Dan Stacks retired, and so we replaced him with James Stevenson. Peter Smith retired under Brian Bart, right? Peter Smith retired. And now he's been replaced with Jessica Butler out of the design division, and Camille Thomason retired out of the design division. And then we had, so we're working on filling that, the design division, or I'm working on that. And then we had 5 district engineers retire after that. So, and Quincy's done a great job. I think he's got 4 of those filled, and in filling one of those, he's opened up another position with Carl Johnson going from Abilene to Fort Worth.
Well, I tell you, those guys you have over in materials and tests, they are busy. I know that when it comes to flexible pavements and soils and aggregates and liquid asphalt, those guys are they keep us busy on checking on specifications and test procedures and those type of things. And we just had a meeting yesterday. Our major associate member group met with materials and tests. Miles was there, Ryan was there, and Anand was there online. I just want to say they did a great job, and they're passionate about what they do, just like industry, and we really appreciate that, Michael. And we think y'all have done a good job of it.
Oh, I know, and we'll probably touch on it later, but you mentioned the specifications and all the different changes, and they are excited. They're trying to get some things done, and but we have heard from industry. We've heard pretty loud and clear that we'll probably need to slow down on the changes. That, we need to let some of the changes get implemented before we change them again. So we get that.
Thank you for keeping your ears open there for sure. So
we actually hear.
I know you do. I want to talk about a few other engineering items here real quick. But first thing I'd like to talk about that we see on our projects is, and I just wanted to ask you about the importance of communication. We don't have the same communication lines that we used to have or that we normally have. I know we have pre-paving meetings sometimes, but it's a Zoom type of meeting or it's online. Just how important is that communication? And talking about that specific project that we should be working on.
So that was one of the big things that we were working on, and we continue to work on with our quality and pavement initiatives. Right?
Yes.
Was that how to make that pre-paved meeting meaningful, and we had a lot of momentum. I think the COVID-19, the situation that we're in, may have slowed some of that, and we don't want to do that. We want it to maintain momentum. We want to keep it going, and so when we get back to business as usual, I think it'll be key for us to reignite that, because communication, nothing is going to get done the way we want it done and the way industry wants it done if we don't communicate and make sure we're all on the same page. And so, we talked a lot, and I know the TXAPA staff just spent a ton of time going through and coming up with better protocols on a pre-paved meeting. And we went out and we've done a lot of education on it. We've at your PIQ meetings and all that, we talked about that and we sent that forward. But some of the aspects of it now just aren't possible at this time. They will be again, and so we'll pick that up. But so back, as far as communication goes, the fact that we can't be in person doesn't mean we can't communicate. We need to figure out how to communicate, and if we're not doing that, then shame on all of us for not taking the time to communicate.
You bet. That's the important thing. And one thing we've learned, and through the Seal Code Committee, y'all initiated a debriefing that was held at our annual meeting, and the debriefs are really important too.
Yeah. So it's fascinating. I talked to a contractor the other day that had just finished up their debrief in the district, and they were really pleased with how it turned out. They think it is a good process, or at least that one contractor does. I hate that we're not going to have the opportunity to sit in the room in this year and do like we did the last 2 years and get better at the statewide debrief. But we'll get that. We'll get those district debriefs done hopefully, and we'll learn from those. And it really is. I think it's not so much about a statewide debrief as it is about the locals getting with the contractors and them just having, setting their feelings aside, having thick skin and having open, honest communication about what went good, what needs to be better, and taking some ownership on who can do something to make it better.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the department can do a better job in their plans, and sometimes the contractor can do a better job with their execution.
Absolutely. Another important element that I want to talk about that's near and dear to our heart is because we focus on it so much. We know that smoothness is what we're talking about, and smoothness is one of those aspects that the traveling public, they like to ride on smooth roads. We know that. We'd like to think that they're safer roads too, and TxDOT puts a lot of importance on smoothness. We have a ride specification that we have to meet, and we just always want to make sure everybody is focused on that from both standpoints as a partnership. Tell me about the importance of smooth roads from a TxDOT perspective.
So it just gives us all credibility, right? It gives the department credibility when we have a good ride, a quiet ride, one that lasts, so it has quality in there too. It's not just, that gives us credibility in that we're spending the taxpayers' dollars wisely. It gives the contractor credibility in that they're doing a good job and can be trusted. And Harold, one of the running jokes around, particularly if you work for the department, the ink pen doesn't work. That's that low bid system. We got to take low bids. Well, we built this whole system in the low bid environment, right?
Yes.
Mine just a few design, build, procured projects, but the low bid system works, but it's it works because of industry and owners working together to make sure that we're delivering a program that's successful, and smooth ride's part of that. That's really the only thing our families are going to notice about a roadway when we get done is whether or not it's smooth. And they're not going to, if it's black, that's good, and all those things. But the other little things that sometimes we spend a lot of time on, they're not going to notice so much.
Absolutely. You mentioned industry and owners working together, and it just brings the true success story home to me about industry and TxDOT and the Seal Coat Steering Committee. What a great story that is. That's an amazing story of coming together to really promote quality, to really provide opportunities for quality. Tell me about the Seal Coat Steering Committee. We had Kevin King here a couple of weeks ago talk about how great it was. Let me hear it from your voice.
So first of all, you have to take your hat off to Kevin and all the work he's done. There's a lot of members on the committee. There's a lot of folks involved, but Kevin has truly dedicated himself to it, and not now, not just now. I mean, he's been doing this for years, and he and Dr. Epps, Dr. Epps just working hard, and we got other folks. We got folks at TxDOT, Dennis Berryhill, and a few others that are working hard with this. But what is I think some of the best things that have come out of the Seal Coat improvement. Quality improvement program. Some of the trainings, educational series that we came up with. We don't do training, we do education, and the asphalt binder testing program and some of the stuff that's coming out with that, just creating some transparency. Just those after. What I call them after action. I know it's a project review, but those after action reviews of the program are just critical, and it's spilled over into other aspects of our asphalt paving program.
You bet. Those workshops, I think they've had a tremendous impact as we were going around. We started those last year, and we did some here at TxAPA this year, but just to hear people talk about them and what they learned, I think we have made an impact. We have moved the needle for seal coats, and just judging from people's comments, I think we've had a pretty good season in seal coat. What have you heard so far?
So that's the thing, is it's what I haven't heard, right? So I haven't had the major problems that we had previous that kind of stirred us to move toward this quality program. We haven't had the big failures. We haven't had the big challenges, where it makes the newspaper or the local media. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure we've had problems. We've had issues with rock. We've had issues with, and over the winter, we're probably going to lose some rock in various areas, just like you do in most years. You'll have different levels of success with our seal coat and on different roads, even in the same district, right?
Right.
But I think the fact that we're not hearing the negatives is a huge positive for us.
I totally agree. And, one of those things that came out of that committee, and you touched on it, was that liquid asphalt sampling and testing program. I think that has worked. I think we're really seeing a lot more quality liquid asphalt from a PG binder standpoint, from seal coat oil to tack, whatever it might be. I just want to thank you for having the initiative to help materials and tests to come up with that program and then to follow through on that.
Well, I'll give the credit to really Buddy and Miles, and Miles was he did the bulk of the work on that. So he worked hard on that. That was Buddy's first day in the job. I kind of challenged him that we had to move forward with that. We had to do better than what we had, and they worked so hard to get it done. And we're right there. I mean, we're right there. What Aaron Rodgers,
That's right.
We're just we're getting.
Well, I tell you, he worked so well. He came in, he worked well. Matt Rooker was our major associate member chair that year, and worked with Matt. And of course, Albert Slaughter was our president, and pulling everybody together, did a great job. And now Ted Flanagan is the chair of our major associate group. And like I said, they met yesterday and just continuing that program and fine tuning out of how it can be better and better. So another great success story because of a great partnership. So we appreciate that.
And it goes back to Albert being willing to take that on as the president too. I guess that wasn't something that TXAPA was always too interested in. It's not that you ignored seal coat, but it just wasn't. I mean, y'all listening to us as the owner, and it was just instrumental. And we appreciate that. We know what it was for you to kind of get involved in that as deeply as we have, and we certainly appreciate it.
And we appreciate the opportunity, and that opportunity led to another. You and Randy Hoffman, when he was still there, had said, "Hey, why don't we do this on asphalt pavement?" And it's something we've always wanted to do, and we started meeting on a regular basis with that. And my goodness, what great quality initiatives we're coming up with there too.
Yeah, so let me tell the true story on that, right? Randy sat down with y'all and said, "We want to start this other initiative." I wasn't even in the room. A month later, we're having the first meeting, and I've got an appointment, and Randy's got it, and he calls me up and he says, "Hey, what's this appointment about?" And I said, "Well, it's that thing you got started up, what you wanted to do, like we're doing with seal coat." And he said, "Well, can you cover for me? I can't make it." so I've been going to all of those, but it was a good start. But and Randy came to several of them. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, he did start it up and got the wheels rolling, and we've run with it.
Well, you've been a great co-chair. Not only did you have to show up and cover, but you were the co-chair. So you've done a great job for that.
Yeah, if he'd have showed up, he'd have been the co-chair.
One of the things that committee has really worked together on to get an initiative going was on balanced mix design. And I know we have projects with trial batches out there. We have some great work going on that. Tell me about your balanced mix design process.
So Harold, that's another example of the owner and industry working together, because that's something that interests all of us. And really the only way we can figure out how to get that just right is to work, get some designs and put them out on the road and test them and compare them to others. And a lot of times in the past, we would put together a research program or project where we would maybe do 250 tons of something or 500 tons or something. And we heard from industry, and they said, look, we don't mind doing it, but we need it to be set up as a day's production. And so we worked to, and we all kind of agreed that we would do this, do these trial mixes. We would do the design and we'd do all the tests and everything, but we needed them in the field, and we would do it by change order so that the contractor could make sure that they covered their costs. But we would only do it by change order with contractors that were really interested in working with us and in promoting it. In other words, we didn't want it to be a hostile environment when we were trying to execute a change order. It didn't need to be, just a week, 2 month, or a week or a month-long negotiation on prices of everything in there. It was something that was reasonable, and we could work with everybody could accept the risk associated with it. And so, again, that was a great example of working with the industry.
It really is, Michael. I was so pleased to see the number of districts that volunteered, that wanted to see that, the number of contractors, and they jointly did it. I mean, they came forward and said, hey, we want this project, we want it. So that was, you're right, another great success story. And there again, Dr. John Epps has been in the middle of some of that to coordinate those things. I always like to thank John for all of his hard work too.
He has meant more to this asphalt program in the last few years than I can imagine. I don't know how far along we would be without Dr. Epps right now.
I agree. I totally agree. And, I like him so much because he wears maroon and white, and
yes,
he's almost a Mississippi State Bulldog fan sometimes. So I like that from him.
Do I need to change my background? That's cool.
I know you've got one that's maroon and white with a T on it. I know that. So.
Yeah.
One other thing that we've worked on at the Quality Initiative meeting is, and something that's going through fast, is the e-ticket specification.
Yes.
Can you touch on that just a little bit as to how fast it's going through?
So I'm just excited that we're moving on, right? So I know industry had approached us at one of those asphalt pavement quality meetings, and there's on the TxDOT side, we heard a lot of reasons why we couldn't do it, and so COVID-19 kind of pushed it forward, right? So we just need to figure out what we need out of that ticket, what verifications we need to do, and let's open this thing up and try something different. My goodness, if I can work from downtown Warren Springs, and surely to goodness we can figure out how to transfer a ticket without somebody having to climb up on a truck and get within arm's reach of somebody to hand over a paper ticket. So it is about accountability. It's about being able to produce records that show that we actually received the materials that we're paying for, and so I think we're getting close. Very proud of the work that we're doing there.
Same here.
And it's the industry led, right? I mean, because one last thing we want to do is go out there and us find a vendor that I think what we prefer is for you all to come up with we tell you what we have to have, and you come up with a program that delivers.
You bet. Well, we appreciate that. I know Craig Odom with Reeks Albert, he's been our leader on that. Jim been the lead staff member, and my goodness, great partnership there. So we really appreciate that. You said you've already heard us, but I just wanted to bring up specifications again. My goodness, we have been leading the nation on specification changes, and we do have advancement in our industry. We have technology changes. Sometimes we get behind, but I just want to make a comment that in the last year and a half, we have made comments on 25 different specifications and 27 test procedures, Michael. So that's a lot of work from everybody. What do you think about that?
Yes. I think y'all have a lot of comments, and no matter how many we throw at you, you never seem to have a lack of time to comment on them. But what I would say is, and we've talked about that, right? We've talked about it at our meetings that that we do need to just catch our breath a little bit. We need to maybe slow roll some of these out and quit coming just in batches. Every month we have a batch of new specifications, and I think Miles and Ryan have heard that, and that's, I understand that's just on this side of asphalt that you're talking about. It doesn't include all the other specification changes that we've got going on. So, believe it or not, we do things other than asphalt.
Yeah, we didn't know that. we get tunnel vision.
Yeah, we still do bridges, and we use this gray powdery substance called cement.
I understand.
But so we have specifications. We even use some steel every now and then, right? So
there you go. That's right. That's right.
But yeah, I think we've heard, and I appreciate y'all's willingness to help with all of those and provide comments. But yeah.
Well, what's so great about it is you give us the opportunity to comment, and we truly do. That's what's so genuine about the whole process, is that we do get a chance to comment, and y'all listen to those comments, and you've made changes based on comments from industry. So that's what makes the system work, and we appreciate that. We don't ever want to throw stones or say that's not working, because it does work. We don't care if there's 25 or not. The system is working, so we sure appreciate it. Thank you for that. But one thing that does bring up that we've been getting a lot of phone calls, I just want to get your opinion on this too, is general notes. We've been, with the change in specifications and how many are changes, there were some general notes in there that were, put in there maybe before the project or before the spec changes, and now they were just kind of carried over and all. So we're starting to see a few more, and we want to bring that to some people's attention. What's your comment about general notes these days for our world?
So one thing that and we've had discussion internal about this recently, is that our general notes should not be used to change the specification. Right? General notes really should be used to clarify situations or expectations, and but not change specifications. And so when we have contracts, when we have districts or folks that put notes in that appear to be changing specifications, we want to hear from industry. Let us know. We'll look into it and try to stop that as a practice. We do have, right now we're working on the new spec book, and I know your membership's got a lot of, we'll have a lot of input in those items, particularly related to asphalt and hot mixes and all. But we don't want general notes changing the specifications. But I will, one of the things I'll remind you, we all know this, right? Most every general note is written specifically for a contractor. So when you look in those plans and you see your general note, take pride in that it's still around, because obviously we were not clear at some point in time, and we're trying to clear up an argument by putting a general note in the plans, trying to stop it before it gets started. But we shouldn't be changing specs.
You're right about that, Michael. I have seen a contractor kind of dip his head, raise his hand, and said, "Yep, I think that's in there for me." Yeah. So you're right about that. One thing I want to move to, my goodness, I could sit here and talk to you all day long, and I appreciate your time so much, but something that's really, really near and dear to us with COVID changes and tax dollars not being what they used to be, and the oil patch changing. We're always concerned about transportation funding, and of course, from TxDOT. What does the future look like for us in 2021 and 2022 for funding?
So we have seen projections from the comptroller's office that show reduced funding, and if you were paying attention at last month's commission meeting, or even just about any commission we have anytime, there's a lot of discussion about the Unified Transportation Program, UTP, and year before last it was $75 billion, and this year it's whatever it is, and there's concern for what the UTP is going to be over time. I will tell you that we've got our 12-month letting out there right now, and and we've got a healthy 6.2 billion in the design bid build prepared to let or scheduled to let in the next, starting well, September was part of it, right? So the next 11 months we'll finish that up. And our expectation is we're going to meet that $6 billion design bid build letting next year. Couple of things that we realize as an agency is we've been pretty aggressive on some of these design build programs, projects, and so one of the easiest things to do to you can shift a lot of money out of a letting or out of our program by delaying design build program 6 months or a year or something. And so that's been kind of the way we're going about it right now. That's our plan, is to hold a $7.5 billion a year contract awards, but with 1.5 being design build and 6 billion being design bid build. And if things slow down, the idea would be that you push out a design build program a little bit. If we have the funds and we can do $2 billion or $2.5 billion or $3 billion in design build in 1 year, great, let's do it. But there's a pretty good commitment internal to the department that we got to maintain our design bid build program.
You bet. Well, that sounds really good. Now, we certainly have the needs in Texas. I mean, our surface transportation system is heavily used. We're very fortunate in that, and we need to, utilize as many dollars as we can to make sure it's in a great situation to we can keep goods and services and people traveling safely. So we're glad to hear that, most definitely. Like I said, I could talk to you all day long, Michael. You're so generous with your time. Our time is drawing close. Is there any final comments or any final topics we haven't covered you'd like to hit on?
I told you earlier, I am really absolutely missing the TXAPA meeting.
Yep.
Always enjoy that. I hate that we're not going to get to do that this year. Lee and I were talking about that at lunch. We're not going to get to play golf with Bill Weesey and his wife, and we kind of hate that. We played with them last year, and we all just kind of stunk it up together, but we had a real good time. And it's times like that you just miss when you can't be more face to face. So I think I'll be glad when we get back to regular meetings and face to face.
You bet. Same here. We're missing the annual meeting. We're missing seeing our TxDOT partners. We're missing seeing all of our industry members. It's just a great time to be together. You're so right. Whether it's a golf tournament or the technical sessions or casino or whatever, the auction. My goodness, we're missing all those fun things.
I was just wanting to see if Robert Lee could win 3 more pistols.
Unbelievable. That is exactly right. How did he do that, man?
Yeah, I don't know. Stack deck.
He was buying some tickets. I know that. That's one thing for sure. So, yeah, that was unbelievable. It really was. But hopefully next year we'll be back to that and we'll have another great annual meeting. Mike, I just want to thank you so much. You're such a great partner. You're a great listener. You're a great communicator for us. You give us great direction within the industry. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Harold. Always enjoy it. Always.
You bet. Thank you. I do want to touch on the rest of our Fall Focus series. We will continue to do these every Tuesday and every Thursday for the rest of September. And coming up next Tuesday, September 15th, we'll be focused on results. We were talking about the liquid asphalt sampling and testing program. That's what we'll be talking about on the 15th. We will have Ted Flanagan, Right Asphalt, will be the moderator for one of our panel discussions. We're going to have Miles Garrison here from Materials and Test. We'll have Ryan Barbarak and also Anad Mohammed will be here. And they're going to be talking about the program and how it's working, how it's not, what improvements are being done. So you won't want to miss that. It will be a great time. Thursday, September 17th, we will focus on performance. And that's when we get to hear from Quincy Allen. And Quincy's been working, as we talked about today, getting some new district engineers in there. And he's going to have a DE panel discussion. So his DEs will be in here talking about their products and performance in the field and what's going on within their districts. Also, September 24th, we're going to be focused on fun. And our fund talks or focuses around our scholarship program. So we're going to be having a Asphalt Squares program, and you're going to get to donate to our scholarship program through that. Just as if we've already had Anderson Columbia for $10,000, Century Asphalt for $15,000, and Angel Brothers Construction for $15,000, as well as some others. So come on in, enjoy that Asphalt Squares program. Be sure to donate to our scholarship program that changes lives. That's what we do, is change lives with that program. And September 29th, we're going to be focused on quality. That's quality projects, and that's people who provide that quality. So quality people. We're going to be announcing the winners of all of our TxDOT, TXAPA Asphalt Pavement Awards projects, and we're also going to be announcing our TxAPA Awards, the City, County, Airport projects, as well as our HMAC TxDOT Technician of the Year Awards. So we're going to be focused on quality and those quality people on the 29th. So, Jim, do you have any other final comments for us to wrap up? All right, Jimmy's good. We've given a year's worth of Texas now, so hopefully he'll be more at home, and he'll ride his horse up here and all that type of stuff back to work. So, Jim, thank you very much for a year's worth of wonderful service. Hey, y'all go enjoy yourselves out there. Go make somebody happy and get some of that Texas sunshine on you. Thank y'all very much.